Hello to anyone listening. Thank you for your time, and in today's video we are going over our top 10 Dynasty quarterbacks. Our videos are still a little rough, so I apologize, but again, thank you for your time. If you happen to enjoy this video, we would greatly appreciate a like and subscribe. So yeah, enjoy. We'll get started then. Top 10 Dynasty quarterbacks as far as we see it. We will start with, how about this? We'll do a top 3. We'll start with you, Brown, then we'll move to you, Dan, and then Dan can finish off 4 and 5, and then Brown will move to you and you can finish your 4 and 5. Sound good?
Yeah.
Alrighty, go ahead.
Awesome.
So how are we doing this? I'm sorry, I didn't quite get what you were trying to say.
Brown's gonna do his first 3, then you're gonna do your first 3, then
Okay.
basically you're gonna finish. Well, you're basically gonna do the top 5 after when you go, and then Brown's gonna finish 3 and 4, or 4 and 5. Sorry. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just
Cool.
to split it up a little bit so he doesn't read off his whole top 5, and yeah, we'll space it out a little bit, you know. And then I'll read off mine last.
Works for me.
Cool. All right, go ahead, Brown.
All right. Let me start with number 1. We start with it with numero uno.
Yep.
Here. All right. My top guy. Pretty much in my mind, no question. Josh Allen.
Okay.
Just absolute beast out there. Even without Stephon Diggs, and I definitely took that into consideration. I think he is one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the league. He's got, honestly, I think, evasive speed as far as running the football, and you can tell that the guy can throw 70 yards easy, no problem. I think they end up picking up somebody in the draft. I think they end up picking up somebody to help him out. Plus, he has more threats now, like Kincaid back there at tight end. So you still got Shakir. So you definitely have threats there, and I think he just is, as far as like putting up production, still the best in the league. Number 2, I have Jalen Hurts. A lot of things that Josh Allen has. Hurts does have the weapons, but as if I'm thinking more long term, I think Allen has a little bit of an edge there. But Hurts, again, he's got the weapons. He's got the what is it? The little goal line play there, the tush push. So he can definitely get points off that. So I think he's gonna be doing that until they ban it. But otherwise, and I think he definitely did step up his passing game a lot over the last few years. So Hurts, I think, and he was honestly right there with Allen and top 2 in the league last year. And I don't think either of them are slowing down. They're still young. So number 3, I do have Patrick Mahomes.
Patty.
Can't quite count him out. Patty Holmes, and he, yeah, I mean, he's proven already why he's one of the top 5, if not. Honestly, he could easily be in the consideration for top QB. No matter who he's playing around, he's still throwing 3-4 touchdowns a game. Slow season last year. He didn't quite finish where he wanted to be, but knowing him, like, he still has a little bit of rushing ability there, some elusiveness. Yeah, I definitely like him as in that spot too. So that was my top 3.
Alrighty. And Dan, before you list your top 3, once you do so, before you list 4 and 5, we're gonna stop and we can discuss the top 3 between you two.
Sure.
Cool. All right, you're good to go.
Okay, mine's a little bit different, I guess you would say.
I was hoping so.
Mine go. I made my list basically current.
Yeah, however you
trying to go
feel,
with-
the top 10 in your eyes, you know?
Yeah, so going with like currently with the way the season's going to be shaping up, I do believe that actually that number 1 I have Patrick Mahomes.
Patty, okay.
Even though you do lose probably Rashee Rice, you still acquired Hollywood Brown. You got Travis Kelce. They never really had a clear-cut number one last year, so acquiring Hollywood Brown definitely helps him in trying to reclaim that top spot. My number two is actually somebody that really has been forgotten about because of injury. But because of the weapons available to him, I'm taking Joe Burrow.
Oh, Burrow, okay.
Yeah, a lot of people forgot about him. He was an absolute stud whenever he was healthy. I believe in 2022 he still finished in the top 5 for fantasy points, actually. Finished around 4. I think that he's going to be up there again. And then sitting at number 3, I have Lamar Jackson. I really think that he's just going to be able to produce a lot more this year with Mark Andrews being healthy again. I really believe that Zay Flowers is going to actually kind of come out of his shell more. Now that he's going to be more developed. But that's who I have in my top 3 right now.
All right. Well, okay. There's definitely... So you don't have Josh Allen in your top 3, which is surprising.
He has the reason why I have him at number 4, actually.
Okay, we'll get to
I just
that.
don't have him in my top 3 because literally he has no weapons from last year.
Yeah.
He has nobody to throw to.
I got you.
Which is going to affect his value.
So, yeah, Burrow. I kind of feel Burrow. I feel that you're not wrong when you say that he has his weapons and people kind of do forget about him because he got banged up. He got injured twice last year. During the off season that it had, I think, what was it, ACL or something with his knee?
Yeah.
Then
he ripped his ACL and then he came back.
Came back and then ended up getting injured again. So, I mean, I could see him being top 5. I don't know if I agree with the 3, but hey, this is why we're doing this. Jackson, I kind of like it. Patty Mahomes with both of you two, top 3. I don't know. I can't argue with that. But yeah, that's a pretty solid top 3 either way you look at it.
I was also looking at not just next year, but I'm looking like, hey, which guys are we picking up for their entire careers? Like who has more gas left in the tank? Who's that kind of thing?
Yeah.
So kind of if it was like next year, definitely I think I would put Lamar or maybe Mahomes, but definitely like Hurts over Allen because like you said, Allen doesn't have the weapons like Diggs this coming year. So it hurts him a little bit. But or still, Josh Allen, he's made plays no matter what, so I still trust that he can do that.
I agree. I'll get because I have him in my top 3. I'll at least say that. But all right, let's go ahead and nothing's too crazy, so I don't really need too much explanation. And you explained it pretty well with Burrow and how you felt about that. So yeah, go ahead and finish off your 4 and 5 for us, Dan, and then we'll move on to Brown.
So number 4, I have Josh Allen. He's still really, really talented. He just has no weapons. It's going to take a couple years for him to actually get an explosive offense again. But he's still a top 5 talent. That's why I have him at 4. If you'd asked me last year, I'd probably have him at 1 or 2. Just based on the people he had around him. But right now, he really has his Dalton Kincaid. I have Jalen Hurts at 5. I think even with all the talent that they have and even the tush pushes might actually cease to exist a little bit just for having linemen, moving. Kelsey was really important during that tush push. So I feel like that value will slip a little bit. But he does have the weapon still. But I feel like the 4 that I have above him are just going to be able to perform better due to schedule and weapon-wise.
And I'm so sorry, but I totally spaced out on who you just said right there.
He took Allen and then Hurts
Okay.
on 4 and 5.
I heard Allen, but I heard everything else. I just did not hear Jalen Hurts. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry, and I don't know why.
you're fine.
All
How
right.
dare you,
So that's a pretty
as the
good
host of
song.
this show? I'm
I
joking.
know, right? Not doing my job. Shame, shame.
I'm also trying to link my list on the ability to win too.
Yeah. It's a good top five. I like it. But all right, Brown, go ahead and finish off your top five for us.
So, number 4, I do have Joe Burrow.
Burrow.
He, coming off an injury, might have thought about making him a little bit higher,
Mm-hmm.
but still, he's like what, in his 4th, 5th season, and he's still young, and he's got so much ability. He's probably one of the best passers in the game. And you still have Jamar Chase at the moment. You still have T Higgins. So you have weapons there, especially for this season, if not further out. Uh, yeah, I just think like as far as his ability to throw the football, I think he's gonna be right there in the top 3 in passing touchdowns as long as he stays healthy. So, and that's gonna be consistent for many years. So, as far as like him, as long as he stays healthy, I definitely like him to be one of the upper echelon quarterbacks in Dynasty. So, number 4, I have Burrow. Number 5, I have CJ Stroud.
Stroud.
So, Stroud,
Oh,
little
maybe
recency bias
not
here,
spelling it
but
correctly.
the kid can play. He's shown it last year.
He's a baller, baby.
Rookie year, really throwing a lot of chemistry with guys like Nico Collins, Tank Dell. Now you have Stephon Diggs. I mean, the sky's the limit for him. And especially in the second season, in the Dynasty League, like if you have the chance to grab him, like I would definitely consider it. I could even see him being even like closer to a top 3 as far as like who to pick in Dynasty. So yeah, plus yeah, he's just gifted. I'm so mad I didn't take him in Dynasty when he had the initial draft. So that's what I think of him. I think he's definitely a top 5 quarterback right now.
Alrighty. So, what's the biggest difference I would say between you guys right now? Not much, because I mean, you guys, he had Burrow, and you said you would put Burrow higher if it wasn't for the injury. That's what you said, yes?
Yeah, because you never know how you're gonna like react to
Okay.
it. I don't think it's gonna affect him at all. But I'd rather have like the guys who've even come off injuries better and everything like that, like with Mahomes or I think Allen was banged up at one point. So
Biggest
uh,
gap, it seems, would be Hurts and Allen then. Because you have him at 1, Dan has him at 4, and you have Hurts
think
at 2, and
I
he has him at 5.
yeah.
Um, all right. I like it. I will move on to mine now. Let me grab my little notes here. All right. Same as Brown. Josh Allen, number 1. And yeah, his lowest rank literally was his first year, number 21. His following season, he was number 8. Every single season, besides those two, number 1, number 1, and I think number 2, number 1. Yeah, so he's number 1 for me. And number 2, CJ Stroud. And that was more based on his value. I wouldn't say more so based on his value, but it had a huge importance in that decision. And I mean, he's young. The addition of Diggs, he had a great first season. Only added more weapons, Diggs and Mixon, a better running game. I think he builds off of that first season, and yeah, have him at number 2. Let me type that in. All right. Number 3, I have Jalen Hurts. Um, and yeah, I mean, still young. The rushing upside's ridiculous. Like yeah, Brown, you said about the tush push. The dude runs, you're gonna get points off of him that way, and rushing quarterbacks are a big deal. So Jalen Hurts, number 3. Uh, Number 4, Patrick Mahomes. Patty. All right. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. The only reason I really have him as low as I do is because I think, Dan, you said it about Rice. He does have Hollywood, but Hollywood, I think, has had a lingering ankle thing, like at least last year, the year before, or something like that. So if he stays healthy, I could see him being top 5. If Rice comes back like halfway through the season, I could easily see him moving up and moving him up in my list. But right now, this is where I have him number 4. And at number 5, I have Lamar Jackson. Um, where am I at with this one? Excuse me. All right. Yeah, guaranteed 50 yards. Yeah, 50 yards rushing a game. You might as well add that. 200 yards passing, multiple touchdowns. Easily number 5 for me. Number 6, I have Anthony Richardson. Or no, not Anthony Richardson. I'm sorry. Pardon me. Joe Burrow. I made a little change there. Halftime adjustment. Crossed his name out. But yeah, as of right now, Higgins is with the He's with the Bengals, so I'm putting him here. If he does lose Higgins, I think he falls a few spots. And like you two stated, he's one of the better throwers in the league. So I had to put him here at oh wow, I went on to number 6. I'm so sorry. 2, 4, 5, 6. Oh well, you guys can do yours. But
We'll do
yeah.
your 6 and 7, and then we'll do our 6 and 7.
Yeah. I was on a roll here, my bad. But
Mhm.
yeah, he has Higgins right now. If he keeps Higgins, I feel this is his range. So my number 7, Anthony Richardson.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's an interesting
Richardson.
one for me too.
Anthony Richardson. I mean, he's 21. He showed his flashes during those first few games. So with that one, that's pretty much where I'm at. He has the age, he's young, he has the talent, and again, rushing quarterbacks, they put up points, they're highly valued. But yeah, that's my 7. Sorry, I didn't mean to add on the additional 2, but
Once again, how dare you?
You're fine.
I was on a roll, man. I was just I don't know. I was like, yeah.
You're fine.
But we'll just go down the line. I have Dan here in the next block. So Dan will
I feel like
get
this
your
is where
6
our
and
lists
7.
are gonna.
I
Feel like
think
this is
so.
where our lists are gonna get crazy. So
Yeah, I think so.
at number 6, I have C.J. Stroud. Um, I would have him higher if I knew his team as a whole was going to be solid. They're doing great things on offense, and they're starting to build the defense a little bit. Um, but it is the Texans, so they could just blow up his whole career. But as a athlete, he's definitely top 5 in my opinion. But right now I have him at 6 because of the situation. It's a positive one right now, but it can easily go awry. He could end up in the top 3 by the end of the season, especially with Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell and Nico Collins and the way that they're running. So it really is going to come down to how his team just is able to perform throughout the year, if they're consistent or not. At 7, I have Jordan Love. I think a lot of people were forgetting about him. he did a lot of good things with the limited resources that he had, and he almost did, you know, some crazy work in the playoffs. So I think the upswing for Jordan Love is there, especially if they get weapons around him. And those are my 6 and 7.
I like it. Go ahead, Brown. All you.
So for my 6, I have Lamar Jackson. Um,
Okay.
Again, full threat quarterback. Like you mentioned, Pratt, the guy's guaranteed to get you 15 rushing yards, throwing a bunch of scores there. But the thing that impressed me most was his ability to pass the football. Last year, I think he excelled so much because he did pass the football, and he did throw. Honestly, I think a career high in touchdowns for him last season. So he definitely has improved in that asset. So if you throw in that, plus it's still his ability to run, getting a little bit up there in age as far as like his rushing ability, but I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. And I think if he shows that he can throw the football as consistent as he showed last year, um, he honestly he could have easily, if he had shown that all his career, he would be in my like top 3 as well. So yeah, he's right there. I have no problem having him in 6. Number 7, Pratt. I think we share the same guy here. I have Anthony Richardson
Hell
at
yeah.
number 7. Yeah, I mean, looking at that guy and seeing how much of a beast he is,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing the way he rushes the football, a little crazy as far as how he does it, but and definitely makes it more injury prone. Like you said, I would have he could have been on a roll this season, and I would have put him in my top 5, top 3. Um, but he got hurt, so like, but that doesn't take away how valuable he is as a fantasy asset. So I think he comes off the board early in the redrafts and everything. As far as Dynasty, I do say, yeah, he is gonna need to protect himself more. He hasn't really shown that much how much he can his ability to throw the football. So there are a few things there. Like he could definitely turn into like another Justin Fields, just a lot bigger. But yeah, I think if his ceiling is higher than I think a lot of guys on this list. So yeah, just if he stays healthy, as long as he stays healthy. So it is a risk if you do pick him up, though.
Yeah, I agree with that's why I have him there at that spot because and I was trying not to think of injuries when I was making this list, which is honestly why I probably have him at that spot because it does scare me that in like he played well what I think I wrote down it was 3.5 games or something like that and or 4.5 it was something low like that and it's that doesn't instill much confidence in you. But skill wise, like you were saying, and I was thinking, it's there. He's just gonna put up points. If he's on the field, he's healthy, he's doing his thing, he's gonna kill you. So I like that one. The Jordan Love one, I like that one as well, and you'll probably find out why soon. But yeah, Jordan Love, and you are definitely correct on the playoff analysis there. He played really well in the playoffs. Besides, what was it, the final throw in the second game? He ran across the one to the right side of the field and threw it across his body. And that was
Yeah,
pretty much the only mistake he made.
yeah, we know how playoffs are. You can't make no mistakes.
Yeah,
No mistakes.
yeah.
No,
And
but
that was
yeah.
the one mistake in the most crucial moment, and it sucks, but it happens sometimes.
But
But
that whole
he
game, like you said, he killed it.
yeah, he proved that he was worthy of being there. So I like it so far. I like it. And I guess we'll have Brownie, you can finish off your 9 and 10. Then we'll have Dan go, and then I'll finish off.
Sure. So we're at number 8 now, which in my spot is Brock Purdy.
Oh, 8,
Uh,
9, 10. Sorry.
yeah, 8, 9, 10 is 8. I have Purdy. Yeah, he is not irrelevant anymore, my friends. He is definitely up there with the best. Um, he has a lot of weapons around him. He continues to, with like especially guys like McCaffrey, uh, Debo, Ayuk for now. Jennings, I even consider to be an up and a star in the making years. So I think he's definitely got a good committee around him. He's definitely one of the better um, quarterbacks that work in a system. So as long as he stays in that same system, I think he's going to do a lot of good things um, for the 49ers, especially this year. But I think he has shown he can be a reliable guy long term as well. Not a lot of rushing ability there, but he does have an arm. He does have, I think, I relate to him a lot as I relate to him to like Tom Brady, where he makes a lot of good decisions. So I think that his IQ is high there. Just a really smart quarterback, which can help you a lot as far as winning games. As far as fantasy goes, though, I was looking at his stats last year. He just got better as he went. Um, and yeah, as long as he has the weapons around him, I think he's probably one of the top guys in the league, and he's got a pretty nice ceiling there too. Number 9, I have Justin Herbert. He's definitely a tricky one here. Like last year, we would have had him higher in our list, I bet. But still, he's so talented. I think I have him up there with Burrow as his like ability to throw the football.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he had guys up back there like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. Now you don't really have those guys anymore. So, but I still think he's so talented. He will make any other guys around him better. So maybe not this year won't pay off, but I still think Herbert's going to be one of the top quarterbacks, at least in the top 10 conversation. Again, as long as he stays healthy, he has shown he's been prone to some injuries here and there, but talent wise, I think you can't go wrong with him. And I would, if I see him there in like a later round or something like that in redraft, like I would take him, especially as like a high end like QB2.
Well, we're
But
speaking Dynasty, so.
yeah, but in Dynasty, I would definitely take him in my top 10 just because of his talent. I mean, maybe not showing it this year, but um, I'd say look out in 3 to 4 years if that team retools well. He's going to be dangerous again. So, and my last one, this was a literal toss up. I felt like I had to flip a coin here, but I am going to go with Jordan Love.
Mm.
Um, just the way he has I think it was the way he struggled, and I can mention it because it's a top 10. I had Trevor Lawrence right there as well. Um, Same qualities. They struggled very early on. Love has already been in the league for a while. Lawrence coming off of being like the guy. But Love, I would say, struggling early in the season, but then finding his rhythm, not making a whole lot of mistakes. He has a young group with him. I think that's the one benefit of having him in that spot is he's definitely now got a lot of weapons. You got Josh Jacobs back there. You have Christian Watson, Dobbs, Jaden Reed, who might end up being like the best out of those three. I hope at least. But um, Wicks, like you got like 5 guys there that are within like the first 2 or 3 seasons. Um, yeah, they're loaded at wide receiver. They got a great running back there. So at least for this season, I think he'll be definitely in the top 10. And he might surprise some people. He might end up being, the next Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, the Packers, they haven't seemed like they're missing yet with picking quarterbacks. So
I mean, dude's got an
um,
arm.
yeah, as far as like that echelon of what the organization can do for you, um, yeah, I think Jordan Love a little bit ahead of Trevor Lawrence there. Trevor Lawrence also really talented. Um, but yeah, I take Love as my number 10.
Awesome. All right, Dan. All you.
Okay, so at 8, I have actually probably somebody that nobody said yet, but I feel like he deserves to be there just because of the talent around him and the stats that he put up. Is Tua?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean he has
Okay.
Tyreek Hill, and he has weapons, and I mean he did put up what? What did he put up last year? He
I think
was
he
the lead leaguer.
was
He was the lead leaguer. He led the league last year
in.
yards.
Okay. Okay.
Also threw for almost 30 touchdowns.
What was he? Well, he was top 10, I think.
Threw 29. He led the league in passing yards.
What was his rank in PPR?
I don't know. I don't know what it was in PPR.
Let me bring it up real quick. He should be showing up on here. Wait, he's down. Wait. Where the hell? Oh, wow, he's all the way down there. He was number 9. Sorry for the delay. He was number 9.
I have him, I guess, where he belongs.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah. You're not far off, so.
At number 9, another one that nobody really is talking about, but I feel like should be on the list. Baker Mayfield. He did throw for almost 30 touchdowns and had 4,000 yards, and he has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So that's he's not old at all either. I don't think.
28, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
So he definitely has like
Same age as
second half of
Patrick
a career
Mahomes.
left. Yeah. So he definitely has still a second half of a career left. And then at 10, still very talented. Even though they got rid of Keenan Allen, I think they're going to go get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Wait, who you said Herbert?
Yeah, number 10.
Cool, gotcha.
Justin Herbert. I think that he'll turn it around next year to at least be back in the top 10 slots. I guess my honorable kind of was like tough to decide between like the top 10 spot, but I had between Anthony Richardson also and Trevor Lawrence.
All right. Yeah, it did seem like more so than anything, this, at least for me, the 7 through 10, there was quite a bit of maneuvering I could have done there. But
I was even thinking this because I had him last year. Jared Goff, like
yeah,
he was like right there as far
and
as like who I had like written down like as this like I had like a little list like smorgasbord of players I wrote down and just kind of slotted them in where I thought they would belong. And Goff was right there too, behind Lawrence and Love.
Seems like our
yeah,
lists were pretty similar. We just didn't have, I don't know, some quarterbacks in the bottom half of the top 10. But for the majority, it seems like we had them there too.
Yeah, I think it definitely like I knew like our top 10 was gonna be somewhat similar as especially with like the players. I mean, we might have slot in different spots, but for like as far as like you know the Hurts, the Mahomes, the Burrows, the Strouds, and then like you said, we both had like Herbert. We both had I think most of us had AR Lamar. So
I think I have maybe, because Dan has 2. Oh yeah, I think Dan might have 2 different from me. But yeah, let me go ahead and finish mine off and then we can discuss that. And I don't know if you guys did this, but I did, because drafts in Dynasty, rookie drafts are happening in Dynasty. So at number 8, I put Caleb Williams. And the reason for that is the hype, everyone calling him the next Patrick Mahomes, and he's pretty much guaranteed to be drafted number 1 in the NFL draft. Along with most dynasty leagues, he's getting picked number 1 overall over Marvin Harrison Jr. It's really between them two, but it really leans Caleb Williams. So just for those facts alone, I stuck him here at number 8. Number 9. Let me finish doing this. Okay. My number 9 was Jordan Love, so I wasn't too far off from you guys with that one. And I agree with practically everything you guys said about Jordan Love. Brown, I know you were saying about him and his struggles, and he did. He came out a little shaky, but he was still putting up good fantasy numbers those first few games. But there was a stretch there of 4 games where he was not looking good. But he responded. He played well throughout the rest of the year and proved himself, like you both said, in the playoffs. And he looked good. He's young. He's Brown. I'm pretty sure you said this as well. He sat. He behind Aaron Rodgers. He got to see the game before he actually got thrown out on the field. He got his experience now. Yeah, it's looking good for Jordan Love. And my number 10 is gonna be one that's different. Everyone had one different one, at least. And my other different one here is Kyler Murray. And it's not
Ew.
just because I have him on my team. No.
Are you sure?
Yes, and here's why. Kyler Murray, when healthy, legit one of the best fantasy quarterbacks. Doesn't matter, like PPR, have PP, don't matter. The dude's one of the best, top 5. What was it here? I wrote this down here. 2019, his rookie season, he was number 6. 2020, he was number 3. 2021, he was number 10. In 2022, he was on pace for another top 10 performance until he missed the last 4 games due to injury. And last year, when he was injured, he came back and had 3 or 4 top 10 performances and 1 or 2 top 5 performances. So when he's on the field and healthy, he's a star in fantasy football. And he's going to get a star receiver, most likely, in either Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors. So, yeah,
That is true.
Kyler Murray's my number 10. But you
I
have
mean,
one that shook up a little bit, Dan, with Mayfield.
yeah.
That one I feel is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you go look at him, like what he's done on the field, though, statistically, honestly, like think about it. Last year, he was probably the best free agency pickup, in my opinion, quarterback-wise. If you really think about it, and nobody respects him so much on what he's actually doing down in Tampa that they got him for $100 million, and that's it.
See, I like Baker. Even like when he was on the Browns, it was one of those almost like hateful respects because the Browns were they were the Browns before Baker, and then when they got Baker, they managed to be a good team, win a playoff game, and the Browns being the Browns, let him go.
I mean, he threw what? He threw 3,000. He never threw under 3,000 yards with the Browns. I don't think.
He was a good player for the Browns. He was a good player for them.
No doubt.
And he kind of got a bad rap after he got released from the Browns because he bounced around, was never really given a chance. And then it was that one game against the Rams, they signed him like last minute. He came in and killed it. I'm pretty sure that was him. Last season, they signed him and he came in and did really well. And yeah, the Bucs brought him in and he performed because he actually had his own team.
Exactly. And not only that, the team was well coached. It was actually kind of crazy to see like how successful Baker can actually be. I mean, he eclipsed 4,000 yards. He almost had 30 touchdowns, 10 picks, whatever. That's still less than a pick a game, you know?
No, he was a good quarterback. I'd
Yeah, great last year. Yeah.
I'd
The
probably
thing with
place him at like if I had to like take a random like shot in the I'd probably put him 12 or 13.
That's fair.
Yeah, somewhere
I
in that
have him a little
range.
high. I have him a little high just because what I was trying to take into account whenever I'm thinking dynasty, I'm
Hmm.
thinking like where the team's going, what their offense looks like. Are they going to struggle with their offense in any recent years? And I think that he just set up in a good spot where his offense is like set to thrive, and really it's all in his own hands. And he did great with that last year.
Well, at least for like the next year or two, because who knows? Godwin's getting up there in age. Mike Evans is 30 years old. I think he signed a what, 2-year contract, but after
Yeah,
that's
he'll
over,
sign at
who
least
knows
two.
what happens?
Yeah, we at least got
that's
another
cool.
3 years, two,
And
three
if you
years.
can get 2 years off Mayfield and he puts up top 10 performances, then shit.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
got him on a
For me
bargain for
again,
what quarterbacks are going for too.
Hmm.
it's like it's kind of such a similar situation with Kyler, but I guess the next 2 years
Eh,
definitely could consider him like as a even like definitely like a top 15, especially after the year he had last year. Like he's proven himself and everything that he can still play even though he's not on the Browns or whatever. Um, yeah, I just don't know. Like his future is also very cloudy. I mean, if he continues to, if I see another year like this out of him, I would change my mind a little bit. But I think I would probably like if I had a bet on one or the other, I'd say that probably was his career high season.
yeah,
Just
I can
because
agree.
he had a lot of great talent around him. He still does. And I think he does end up putting up something similar this season. Um, but still, that's like still like it's top 10. But like, do I put him? Do I pick him over Brock Purdy or Justin Herbert or Lamar or AR? Like, it's kind of one of those things.
Well,
Like, am I putting him over
he
this guy?
he has him at 9, so if he breaks the top 10, it's not like he has him too far up there. So 9 would make sense if you think he would
Yeah,
be a top 10 quarterback if he could repeat that, which he definitely could. I mean,
yeah.
another
Like
season,
Yeah.
like he said, the same weapons, all that.
Plus their run games mean
Yeah, if they add somebody
they,
else, actually give Rashad White maybe some help, it could look even better.
yeah.
all they have to do is stack that line right now a little bit more, and their offense is really set. They just have to really draft, I would say, replacements for whenever Godwin and Evans are too old.
Yeah, I do like Baker in that system though. Like you said, the coaching was
Mhm.
really good.
Yeah,
I
it's the place for him.
It's
Yeah, I
kind
don't think he's
of
the most talented, but he's definitely a competitor, and sometimes that's all you need to be is just a good competitor, and that'll help you in all kinds of ways. So
But the
yeah,
quarterback I was looking at for you, Brown, was Purdy. So for me, mine was Murray, Dan's was Mayfield, and for you, Purdy. So go ahead and explain a little bit again why you think Purdy's your boy there.
um, I mean, let me bring your stats up real quick, but I feel like that kind of speaks on to like what he's done for the team the last 2 seasons. Um, and he finished number 6 last year. He started only half the games in 2022 and still put up, I believe, what was it, like 14, 15 points a game? Which is maybe like a few points shorter than what he did last year, as far as like fantasy production, and that's as a rookie coming into a system that you're just starting out. Like I feel like he has exceeded his expectations so far. He had more points than I mean, it's unfair to say Kyler because Kyler only played half the season. Had more points than Mayfield.
The Murray
He,
slander, I won't take it.
I guess, how dare you? Give me Desmond Ritter, damn it. But I think he just such a good system quarterback, such a smart quarterback. Like I said, reminds me a little bit of Tom Brady. As far as like the way he schemes things and everything like that. Yeah, I just love it how like not as much as his like throwing ability as his just competitiveness and similar to Baker, but just how smart of a quarterback he actually is. Because I'm looking at his stats, like the dude does not throw picks at all.
Yeah,
Like he had that one bad game against Baltimore, I think, and that was it.
and it's
I think a
Baltimore.
couple
They'll
games he
get
did
you.
throw 2 picks. 6, 7, 8. That put him it put him at 12 picks. So actually Baker beat him out there. But multiple games with 4 touchdowns, multiple games with 3 touchdowns. He's also concerned he can run the ball a little bit, but I wouldn't make that like the benefactor there. But like I
Actually,
said,
every game that Debo played, they lost. I mean, didn't play, they lost.
yeah,
Debo does
I
make
think
a difference. Him, just his presence on the field.
every time that Debo didn't play, Brock Purdy suffered immensely,
It's almost
and
like the
that's
Steelers with
yeah,
Watt.
almost. It's like well, the pre-snap motion that Debo provides
Mm-hmm.
um, is kind of crazy,
Yeah,
and it really opens up a lot.
yeah, his presence is just because he can do so much.
I mean, literally, when he was hurt, they literally lost 3 games in a row.
yeah. Like I said, he's not gonna be like the guy that's gonna get you 5 touchdowns and three rushing touchdowns or whatever that is gonna be. But I think he's gonna be super consistent for a long time. Like I think he's gonna consistently be a top 10 quarterback for the next 8 years, and he is just going to get better. Like I'm looking at his stats now. Like he was in the top what 5, 6, what 5 of the last 8 weeks. Like he definitely has a lot of potential there. So I think that's kind of more of what I'm looking for. Right now, I wouldn't put him in like my top 10 as far as like next season. He's close, but I think he's just going to progress more as a quarterback. As far as like learning the game and everything. So, um, like I stand by that. I think he's uh definitely shown that he belongs in the league at least, and I just think he's going to be super consistent and from here on out. Like I said, that one Baltimore game definitely made me think about it a little bit. Like, do I really put Purdy like above Herbert in that? But
It's Baltimore. You
I like,
can't hate. You can't.
yeah,
Baltimore. They have one of those defenses and coaching staffs that when the defense gets you, they get you.
yeah, and I'm like everybody has a bad game, so like it's looking at all the other games though. Like I'm definitely I feel confident in putting him in at number 8 there.
Well, like you said, he doesn't seem like he turns the ball over, and it's doesn't what in the long run, or like even not the long run, but like just like in the moment, like if he score like 2 3 touchdowns, a fumble, you won't even notice most times because it's what like a point, but or even an interception, like
That's
two.
usually more like the defenses, like more on the defense being there than him making a
Well, I'm saying
mistake.
as far as like his total score at the end of the year, like just those little
Mm,
bit of points that he doesn't lose from turnovers at the end of the year adds up. So,
Yeah, but his team is so good around him. It's hard for me to judge. Like whenever you're handing the ball off to McCaffrey and throwing to Debo and Ayuk, you don't really have the like. You're not going to turn the ball over a lot,
yeah.
right?
Well, and that's kind of I think what you were saying, Brown, about the consistency that like he's
Yeah.
not the best, but he has the weapons, he's consistent. So, you can kind of almost count on him to maybe hover around that top 10 just because of that. And yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
he's smart.
I'm not saying he's gonna be like I'm not saying he's gonna be a top 5 guy any of
Yeah,
those seasons, but I could see him in a top 10
right.
most of those seasons.
Yeah, I feel
So
you.
plus he is coming off a bad elbow injury, so he looked like he was becoming stronger as the season goes on too.
Hmm.
So I'd like to see how he does next year. But like you said, Dan, he does it. Like I also factored in like the all star team he has around him, and Kittle and Debo and Ayuk right now, and McCaffrey
Yeah, and who
and
we'll see
Jennings,
what happens with
and
Ayuk.
I
yeah.
think that they
So
like. I'm really interested to see if one like Debo or Ayuk leave. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I'm curious
how the team
about that as
performs as a
well.
whole.
Do you think Ayuk? Do you think Ayuk gets moved this offseason?
It's possible.
It
He's
depends on
already
how much of a diva he is, right?
Well, I
Because like
mean,
right now they don't have to deal him.
no, they don't. No.
And I mean, if he just is like, I'm not gonna play,
Yeah.
well then what do? You kind of have to move him.
And we're not at
Mhm.
that point yet to where he can.
Yeah, like once you get into like training camp and that,
Yeah,
like he's not showing
exactly.
up and stuff
Yep.
like that, then you
Yeah,
start
there's no
thinking
way to
about that.
gauge it. Like as of right now on social media and everything, it seems like nothing's gonna happen. Like he's
Yeah,
just gonna show up
exactly.
and play.
Yeah.
But if they do trade him, then I'm like interested to see like because I feel like they know as well that they need to keep that core unit together as much as possible.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. But all right, I like the lists. We had that nice little discussion there at the end because yeah, we had those few different people. Me and Dan also had the Caleb Williams Tua difference in there.
Yeah, never even
I
mentioned
didn't have
too.
Herbert in my top 10. That's another one I just noticed.
Yeah, I would like to add like the reason I don't have like any of the rookies in the top 10. One, they're not proven, but the reason I didn't have like Caleb up there, even though he's definitely like projected
Never
to
played a game.
have a
That's
bright
why I
future.
stuck him there.
You never know. Yeah, like I would take any one of those top 10 guys, and most of the top guys that I had like even considered there over Caleb, because one like it's a completely different conversation I can have. I do think Caleb Williams is a bust.
I agree.
But yeah, so
Ooh.
yeah, it's interesting because like definitely has the talent, but is
Essential.
his mind there? Like is his work ethic there? Like I'm definitely like thinking about that. I mean, heck, his dad's his agent. Like I don't know if his
I
mental faculties are there either. Like I think he can get himself in a lot of trouble that way, and also like that can affect how he plays on the field too. So I wish the best for him. I don't think I have anything against the guy.
No,
He might be a little
neither
stuck
do
up, but
I. I just don't for a team that lost 3x games as a college team. I just don't understand how he's like so projected to go number one.
yeah.
How he just at the top of this like god tier list, and I just
Yeah.
don't see it.
in
See,
the first
I
game, like I
don't.
watched his whole game. They were playing. I forget who they were playing, but they had like a first and goal at like the 4 to win the game, and he just like made all these like mental mistakes. He fumbled the ball once. He went through. He handed it off to the wrong guy. He almost fumbled it. He like almost threw a pick. Like it was like all these different things that got to them like fourth down, and they ended up missing the field goal on top of it too. Like it was like, where's the number one talent here? Where's the guy that everybody was talking about? Because that looked terrible.
I
As far as
understand that.
rookies, I would have I easily put Jalen Daniels over Williams. Like if
Yeah.
you gave me one pick, I would be reluctant not to pick Williams, but I would definitely highly consider Daniels as like the top guy just because of his dual threat ability. And Caleb's got that a little bit too.
Yeah, he does.
He had
Definitely does.
he threw for more yards, more touchdowns, less picks, and he had over 1,000 rushing yards as well.
His rushing
So
is where
yeah,
I
like
feel he
look at that.
totally
Like I'm
separates
taking that
himself.
guy.
I'm honestly, yeah. If I was in Dave's spot right now, I would strongly consider Jaden Daniels, especially like once you see like where he ends up. If he ends up with the Commanders, I like the talent around him. Like you have McLaurin, you have
I
a
like
few guys there
McLaurin.
at receiver like Dotson and Eckler
And Dotson's a
and
good receiver.
and Brian Robinson and like you got some guys there. Like you put Jalen Daniels in there, I think that they're honestly a playoff contender if he like can pretty much put up the similar production to what like in that progression level as what he did with
Basically the
LSU.
next RG3, except without him getting screwed over by his coach.
Yeah, which I don't think that's gonna
Because
happen anymore. So
RG3, he freaking killed it that rookie year. And that was his
yeah,
game. The running, like he'd run and kill you with his feet, and then he'd bomb it downfield and make a great throw. And Daniels, he definitely the fastest, I would say, out of everybody.
Yeah. It's very hard to put over a guy like Caleb over him.
I mean, if you just look at the blind resume, nobody in their, if you took their names, removed them, and put their resumes together and the conferences they came from, it just wouldn't even be a question.
Yeah, but you
That's how
do
I
have to
personally
look
feel
at
about it.
the on-field play as well, and not just the stats.
I agree with
You
that,
know.
but the on-field play didn't do anything
Right,
to
and
help them
yeah, I
win.
feel you. I get you. Yeah.
Like they almost finished even.
And I'll admit, I don't watch a lot of college football, like really at all. It's just mainly I watch shit about specific players that I'm gonna have to deal with. So it's
No,
not
that's
like I
totally
watched a
fair.
ton of Caleb Williams film, but uh, again, I kind of agree with you guys. He has talent, but I don't necessarily see him like a lot do in him being the next golden child.
Right. Like the best game that I seen out of him all year was that USC Cal game. I don't know if you watched that, Brownie, but that was actually a pretty good game. It was like a late night game. But like that was the only glimmer of like him doing something
To be
high
completely honest,
octane for me.
I think that's the game I watched that I wasn't that impressed with like how he finished that game. But let me see. Hold on.
Well, didn't they? I heard that he actually replaced Rattler the one year in that one rivalry they had, and they supposedly Caleb Williams made a comeback on him and won. And that's when Rattler ended up transferring the next year or some shit like that. Because he stole his job.
Yeah, like I'm like
He took her
I guess
years.
they competed against Utah, but Utah really wasn't that great.
He took
They
her.
got blown out by Notre Dame. Barely competed and won with Deion Sanders, Colorado. It's just like there's nothing that screams like I'm a tier one quarterback, first round pick, first pick.
Wait, yeah,
I
we
almost
can wrap it up here in a few. Because I know Brown, you said you had to get out of here. Well, around 7.
Yeah. Gotta leave at 7 here, so yeah, after that should
Yeah,
probably
but
get him ready here.
it was a good time. I like these lists quite a bit of difference actually, which I expected in the back half of these. Even a little difference at the top half. So it was interesting.
Yeah. And there was that Cal game, Dan. I watched that Cal game.
it
And
was that Cal game. Was that the
I was
first?
not impressed with how they finished that game. At all.
That's fair.
So
I can't
Brown and
remember that
Dan,
exact play that
not
you're
Caleb
talking
fans.
about, but I could imagine.
Yeah, like I was not impressed by that at all. And they lost like what was it? Oh no, wait a minute. It was
Are-
it was an overtime game, never mind. It was Arizona.
All right, so here,
It was an Arizona game.
real quick
Gotcha.
before we go to wrap this up.
I'm gonna say that Cal game. They actually played. He played pretty well, I thought.
Would both of
He
you
only
pick Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. All
There's
right.
not even a question in my
All
mind.
right. Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams. All right. I respect it.
I honestly, I wish the Patriots would trade up for Caleb Williams. That would be like me living a dream.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of JJ.
Yeah, I hear a lot of JJ to the Patriots too. My brother's a real big Patriots fan. He's like, look, I'm disgusted by this, but if he does get drafted here, I hope he's the best thing ever.
Right. But all right, let's wrap this up. It's been a good time. If anybody watches this, thank you so much. Like and subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate that. Do you guys have anything left to say?
No, I just can't wait for the next show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.